Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dauntless Pursuit. We are your hosts, Armand Shahinian and Marina Nazarbakian, two entrepreneurs who found each other at the gym one day, fell in love, and put the pursuit of their dreams into overdrive. In today's episode, we're joined by Lee Priest, former bodybuilder. He was born on July 6, 1972 in Newcastle, Australia. His height of 5'4" makes him one of the shortest and most powerful bodybuilders in the pros. His first competition was in 1986 at the age of 14 years old, the 1986 Sydney Bodybuilding Classic, where he won first in his class. He has competed in over 55 competitions, including the famous Mr. Olympia competition. He has won Mr. Australia 3 times and placed 6th at the 1997 Olympia at the young age of 25. Priest was one of the youngest men to ever turn IFBB pro at the age of 20 and continued to compete successfully in the IFBB for 16 years. He is also a racing enthusiast and a champion race car driver. He started racing in 2002 with both road racing and circle track and moved on to drag racing in 2004, where he has won many successful races. He has also delved into acting, appearing in an Australian TV series called Rescue Special Ops, among many other gigs. His impressive competitive record is so long, we're going to put it in our description below. Now we're going to turn our attention to Lee, and to start off with our first question for him, I'm going to turn it over to Armand.
So, there are tons of questions they're asking you. You're everybody's champion. First of all, we give some introduction about you. One of the first questions that people were asking, people were saying your mother was a bodybuilder as well, right?
Yeah, she got into bodybuilding later on. I'd already been competing from 86 when I was 13 up until 17. And about the time I was 17, my mother was sort of overweight, and she sort of asked me if she got into shape, would I do the couples with her? At 17 years old, I'm thinking, yeah, if you get in shape, I'll do it, because at 17, nobody wants to be seen on stage with their mother. So I'm just like, yeah, if you get in shape, I'll do it. So 8 months later, she got in shape, and we did the couples together, and we were the first mother and son in the world to actually do a couples competition and win it together.
That's awesome.
So that was your first. Motivation to start competing and start working on your body.
He was competing before. So
No, my grandfather was actually, he used to do like wrestling when he was in the army and stuff, and he was always physically fit, my grandfather. And my great-grandfather, he was always into exercise as well, so they'd exercise at home with weights and stuff and do that sort of thing. And I think it was around the time when I was 13, the first Rocky movies came out, and Rocky 4 and that, so I just got a home gym set and used to train in the garage at home. And also around that time, I think the He-Man cartoon was on TV, and I never wanted to be a bodybuilder. I just wanted to pretty much look like the He-Man cartoon. It wasn't until, I was going to the gym training, putting a little bit of muscle on at a young age, that people said I should compete. And I'm like, I don't know about it, because I was always shy and didn't like competing or doing any type of sport where I was looked at. So I figured I'll give it a go, and it just went from there. But I never got into the sport thinking I wanted to be a pro bodybuilder. Even when I went to America to compete in an amateur show before I got my pro card, people would be like, you can turn pro. I'm like, no, I'm not interested in turning pro. So I just found whatever I did, whether it be the bodybuilding, car racing or whatever, as long as I had fun doing it and enjoyed it, I always did well at it. If I thought about it too much and made it like a job and something I had to do, I'd hate it. So as long as I had fun doing it, I sort of excelled. Yeah.
Your forearms were really impressive. Like, everybody was looking at people were like, oh my god, like, his forearms are amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, my grandfather and my mother, they pretty much got the same forearms too. And people always say, how do I train them? I've never trained forearms apart from in the magazines. If I did a photo shoot, I'd always, in the article, it would say, if I train forearms, this is what I would do. But every year I used to say I should train them just to see if they would get any bigger. But forearms are like abs to me. As soon as I start doing them, I'm like, I'm fucking bored. Don't worry about it.
On bodybuilding, especially, everybody look at the leg, look at the chest, biceps, right? But especially any pose that you were getting, your forearms was like exposing in like amazing way. Everyone was impressed.
But normally, like, I'm off to the gym when I leave. This is pretty much how I train, just in a t-shirt like this. So I guess the forearms, as long as they look good, they're the only thing you can't really hide. Exactly. So they're always on show. So as I get older and everything else gets smaller, as long as my forearms look okay, that's all right. I think, wow, everything else must be good. But I've only got good forearms and the rest is shit now. So
Exactly. So you started bodybuilding. You said you were just following your passion, and later on you just got into the competitions. Who was your supporter? And probably, definitely, there were tons of people that were saying, "Oh, I don't think you can do this," or tons of like negativity. How did you overcome negativity, and who was your biggest supporter during that time?
I think my biggest supporter was always my family and grandparents and stuff like that who supported me, and I had a couple of friends. And I know there's a lot of people out there who say they're getting into it sometimes, and generally bodybuilding has that stereotype thing of people just looking at themselves in the mirror, egotistical, which sadly, this day and age, there are a lot of people like that now when you go into the gym who are just in there with their camera phones and sitting there taking photos and aren't really there to train. So, and then you get the stigma too of bodybuilders and steroids and all this garbage comes into it. So a lot of the time, it's mainly when some young kid says he wants to be a bodybuilder and the family goes, "Oh, you don't want to do that, that's this and that." Normally it's just due to misinformation, it's just rumours they've heard, it's this and that. So really, if you do bodybuilding properly, it's a healthy lifestyle if you're going to train, eat healthy and do stuff like that. And, I always tell young kids today when they always come to me, when I said I just got into it because I loved it, I fell into it, but I get a lot of young kids now that are like, "I want to be a pro bodybuilder, I want to do this, I want to win the Olympics." Like, look, you haven't even done a local show yet. How about you just go to the gym and train? Yeah. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If you've got the genetics for it, if you just go to the gym and train and eat healthy without even touching a drug, you're going to build muscle if you've got the genetics for it.
So to skip the fundamental, like the basic stuff. They just want to get up there.
Yeah.
Or they're focused
on
the
It's like, back in my day, when I started, I knew about drugs because they've been in the magazines every now and then. But to me, it was more focused on the hard training, the resting, the eating. And then I figured, okay, if I get to that level where I need them, okay, sadly, I'll have to use them. And once you turn professional, because everyone else is using them, to keep up, you've got to take them. But now you've got young kids taking drugs before they even join a gym. So they don't even know what their true genetic potential is because they're already starting on drugs. And the amount they take is ridiculous. I go online and read some of these forums where even on Facebook, someone's like, "I'm going to do my first cycle. This is what I'm taking." Right. And then all these other idiots just start commenting saying, "Take this, take that." Right. I'm just shaking my head going, "What are you people on about?" And I've been always honest about the gear I've used, the amounts I've used. I get called a liar. And I'm like, look, when it comes to testosterone, I took 400 milligrams. If I took 10,000, I'd say I took 10,000. I got no reason to lie, but I got one guy ready for a show once and he was like, "Lee, can you get me over a show?" And he asked me a few months. I'm like, okay. I finally gave in and helped him. I gave him his diet. I gave him his training program. He goes, "Lee, what about the supplement side?" I said, "Look, I'm no doctor. I can show you what I've done over the years." So I sent him what I used for like the Olympia or something, and he wrote me back within 5 minutes. He's like, "Are you fucking with me?" I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "That's not enough." I said, "Well, if you trust me with your training and dieting," I said, "Trust me with this." So he followed it to a T. It's the most less gear he ever used. He won the world championship, and he goes, "This is the best I've ever looked and the best I ever felt." So these people have taken these. I did a seminar in England a few times, and young kids over there are taking 5 grams of test a week. And when I tell them I take 400 milligrams, they're like, "Oh, bullshit," because they think more is better, but it's not. And you can't tell them. But
maybe they don't have the right guidance, what I think, and they just trying to, because to me, like, I've been studying, and it doesn't take you like a year or two to become like have that massive muscles. It's a progress. You eat, sleep, break it, and like supplements and all this stuff. But people are trying to skip it instead of doing that 5 to 7 years of all that growth. Do it in a year or two. So obviously, if you're doing something with a force or like strong, I mean, you've been racing cars, right? Imagine in a small engine, you start putting tons of supercharger, tons of turbo.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know, like a jet gasoline. And obviously, you're going to blow out the engine. So your engine is heart. So you're going to kill your heart. You're going to start damaging. Like, lots of issues going to happen. But they don't think about that. And their excuse is, if I'm going to go hardcore. But they don't think correctly. They just want to use it.
I've said that to a lot of kids. I said, "You're going to kill yourself," and they're like, "Well, at least I'll die big." I'm like, "Well, that's a dumb attitude. That's a dumb attitude to have." Like, I started competing at 13, and from 13 to 19 in Australia, when I won the Mr. Australia, I won it all naturally. And then I said, my first cycle, I took DECA when I was 19. People were like, "Well, 19's young to take DECA," and that. They said, "Why'd you take it at 19?" I said, "Well, I'd won everything. I was turning pro now, so it was like." They're like, "Well, if you had such good genetics, why'd you need it?" I said, "Well, now that I'm turning pro, I'm competing with guys that have just as good genetics as me, and they're on it. So to keep up, sadly, I've got to take it too. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, you always got to have that foundation work, the 5-7 years without taking anything, just busting your ass. Building muscle takes years and years. That's when people say, I want to build muscle fast. I want to do this fast. I said, nothing in bodybuilding is fast. It takes years and years. It's just consistency year after year after year. You just got to keep at it. So if you're getting into it to get a quick fix like that, you're never going to go anywhere. So.
It's not gonna stay for a long time. And I mean, bodybuilding is not easy. Pretty much like if you really decide to do it as a job, as a passion, you have to eat, breathe, sleep bodybuilding. That's what I've been like looking at the people
Well, it's like even
hardcore. So
I tell people that
someone
too.
like you, that you said your grandfather was wrestling, all this stuff. How are you earning money? Because during that back day, obviously it wasn't that many sponsors, and for the beginning you have to support yourself in order to get a sponsor. How are you supporting yourself as far as like supplements, food, just source of income to can?
Well, I was lucky from the age of 16, 17. I had a sponsor with Weeder in Australia, and
that's amazing.
Beverly International. So I get like my supplements and that for free. But anything else, I used to work at the fire extinguisher place where I'd service fire equipment, smoke alarms, and all that. Because I left school when I was 14, 15, and started working. So I had a normal job doing that, and then later on, I used to clean factories at night time from like 10 p.m. at night to 2 a.m. in the morning. I'd go out cleaning factories, and I lived out the back of a gym for a while, and I'd clean houses during the day as well. So until I went to America when I was 20, then I got signed with Weeder. Then I pretty much had sponsors from that point on. I just worked normal jobs here in Australia just to pay for the food and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things. If you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. And as you said, bodybuilding isn't a cheap sport. You know, you got the food, you got this, you got that. And you got to be, like I said, consistent. You got to do everything. You just can't go to the gym and train and then skip meals and expect to grow. People are like, Lee, I'm not putting any muscle on. I'm like, well, what do you eat? I eat 2 times a day. I might have a Subway sandwich. I'm like, well, you know, you're not going to go anywhere. If you're going to do it, you got to do it properly. And that's why people get mad at me sometimes. I say, look, right now, if I go into the gym for cardio, I'll have my phone, or because my neck injury still, I'm not training hard, I might have my phone because my sponsor's in England, so I've got to write to them every now and then. But I said, if you're serious about the bodybuilding, you want to get somewhere, leave your phone at home or in your gym bag. People are like, yeah, Lee, but I want to listen to the music. I'm like, gyms normally have music on. Just listen to whatever's playing, because really the music's just background noise. You're there to train. And people go, well, I want to listen to my music. I said, yeah, but if you've got your phone in your hand and you're picking a song to get you motivated or whatever, and you see you've got 5 messages, I said, you can't tell me you're not going to have a look at those messages. And when you do, just imagine that message is from your boss, or that's from your girlfriend or your wife, and she's angry at you. Now your whole mindset's changed. You're not focused on the gym anymore. You're pissed off about something else. So I said, unless you're a heart surgeon on call, you don't need your phone in the gym for that hour and a half. Just go in and train. You know.
So, what would you say the difference was between your daily routine when you were bulking and cutting?
Well, when I was bulking, I just ate everything. You know, these days people go on about lean bulk, dirty bulk, blah, blah, blah. It's like, to me, bulking is just eating food. Just eat as much as you can, whatever you want. And that's all I did. You know, some days I'd still have, like, say, I'd have steak and vegetables, but an hour later I might have McDonald's, and then an hour and a half later I might have chicken and rice, but then an hour after that I might have a bowl of ice cream and stuff like that. So I'd still have healthy meals, but then in between those meals would be anything goes, like crap food. And then when it come time for dieting, I just cut out the bad food and added cardio in, and my cardio would go from, 1 to 3 hours a day of cardio plus training twice a day.
So for the people who have, like, they don't have a knowledge about bodybuilding or exercise, and they just suddenly start listening to this podcast, why do you bulk? Like, what do you eat all those stuff and suddenly you start, like, dieting? What is the purpose of it?
Yeah.
Can you explain that, please?
So it's mainly just because when you're bulking up, you're just trying to put on more body weight, because as you see, like with powerlifters or strongman, the more body weight you got, you can lift heavier weights, and the fats and the fluid, does also help protect the joints and the muscles. So, my heaviest I got was 135 kilos, and, I was a lot stronger then, stuff like that. Even when I dieted down, I still had my strength, but then becomes more dangerous when, I've lost 30 odd kilos and I'm still lifting the weights I was when I was bulked up. So, yeah, you'd always see like Dorian and guys like that, the guys that really bulked up every year, when they dieted down, they'd have that extra muscle. You know, you see someone like Sean Ray, Dexter Jackson. Sure, they made little changes, but they're only smaller because they stayed leaner all year. So I was never worried about how I looked in the off season. Now you got guys that want to show their abs all year on Instagram and have the jawline and stuff like that. You know, me when I was bulked up, I'd be just I'd be a big fat figure. People like Lee.
You have nothing to do when you're bulking.
It's
like you're a totally different person. We've seen your picture.
Yeah, because I just enjoyed eating food. As long as if I was off season, I was off season. I was there to enjoy myself. You know, some people all year when they go out to eat, I can't eat that. They're always miserable because they go to a nice restaurant, can I have chicken and rice? And it's like, you know, if you're going out to eat, enjoy yourself. Have something nice that you wouldn't normally have at home. So if I wasn't competing, I just enjoyed life, and whatever I felt like eating, I'd just go and eat it.
Even like back then when I was watching lots of your videos, you were saying, I don't care, I just eat like a pig. I just like push it down. I just have to eat. I just need to get nutrition. So you weren't picky about, I'm gonna pick this. You were just eating, like getting smoothies.
The only time if I felt like it, I'd go and eat it. You know, contest time was different because then I'd go to the clean food and the cardio and spacing the meals out a bit. But off season, I just had to enjoy myself and train and have fun. And because when you get ready for a show, it's so physically, you know, although I say physically it's hard, but to me it was almost the same. The only thing I was doing extra was cardio. My training stayed the same, but getting ready for contest is just so mentally tiring more than anything. Just that constant thinking about the contest, when you're going to eat next. You know, sometimes you don't sleep much because your metabolism's running faster. So I always found contest was more mentally draining than physical.
Right.
So you competed in Mr. Olympia several times, but you never placed higher than 6th place. What do you think?
Well, I did 1 year. The first year I did it, I actually got 5th. And
awesome.
Paul Dillette was 4th, I was 5th, and Kevin was 6th. But then 2 hours after the contest, they changed the placings around. So,
I see. So what do you think?
So we never understood why they changed the placings when the show was.
Do you think it was a different style of judging? Because you placed first in several other competitions. So do you think it was a judging issue or?
Normally the bigger shows as always, because there was 1 year I placed when I won the Ironman, and then I did the bigger show a week later. Right. I was in better condition but got 6th place, so it was always different judges. And back then too, it did come down to who was sponsoring the show sometimes, because they would, you know, be putting up the money so their athletes would do a lot better. And, you know, plus me, I was always outspoken, and some of those big judges at the big shows didn't like me because I'd speak my mind. So, So I always figured if I just come in good shape, it'd be hard for them to totally screw me over, so they'd have to put me somewhere up there. But when I do the Olympia, every year when I was competing, if you got in the top 10, that qualified you for next year. So when I went to the Olympia, I used to always just say, look, I'm happy to get 10th place. Anything above 10th place to me is a bonus. So if I get 10th, I'm happy because that qualifies me for next year. So, you know, I like going to the big shows, mainly for the expos to meet the fans, but competing was one of those things I pretty much had to do because of sponsors and stuff. They want you to compete to represent the brand, but I was never really into the competing side too much. It's just one of those things you had to do, but I just preferred to love training and going to expos to meet the fans and stuff rather than actually standing on stage, because you have a lot of guys up there with their egos. If you beat them, they hate you. I'm like, well, why do you hate me for? I'm not the one judging the show. It's like, I beat you this week. It's like, I beat you today, next week you beat me. I'm like, who cares? It's like, you know, it's just a couple of judges' opinions. That doesn't bother me. So, but some people used to get personal about it.
I mean, even though like you had 5 years of like you were off for 5 years, like between I think 2007-8 to like 2013.
Yeah, 2006 was my last. 2006 was my last show. I was off for 7 years before I came back and did the universe. Yeah.
And you still got the first place, right? I mean, you got back.
Yeah, won the universe.
Whenever you put your mind to it, you were just coming back, and it was just fun for you. You're like, I'm just gonna get to the first place.
Yeah. Well, it was one of actually get ready for the universe was more mental because I had those 7 years off. I'm like, okay, I'm going back to do the universe, and because it was in NABBA now, not IFBB, I'm thinking, well, here I was a top IFBB pro. If I go to NABBA and I don't do well, I said, oh my God, I hate to go on the internet the next day and read Lee Priest sucks, he looked like shit, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of pressure going into that mentally. So that's why I went into that show probably.
Obviously, it's all eyes on you. So
lots
of ups and downs in your career. And we mentioned earlier about that you were car enthusiasm and you were racing and stuff. What is your favorite car, first of all? What's your favorite car and that you're driving, or your dream car? And how come Lipris, bodybuilding, and like car racing? What happened to that? Give us a little bit of
Well, my favourite car has always been the H1 Hummer that I used to have, those military style Hummers as a just go anywhere car. But favourite sports car has always been like an Aston Martin type thing.
Nice,
But
Okay.
that's our
right,
favorite.
but right now I've got a Maserati, so it's like one of
Which
those.
one do you have?
One of those. I have the Maserati Quattroporte S.
Quattroporte? Okay.
So it was about a couple of weeks ago, I decided to cut the mufflers off it because I like loud cars, but trust me, it's too loud, so I had to put the mufflers back on.
Oh, yeah.
The police, because here in Australia, the police can pull you over if your car's too loud, and my friends could hear me coming blocks away, and
Oh my
you know.
God.
The Maserati, almost similar engine to the Ferrari, and if you cut mufflers off that, trust me, just a straight pipe, you'll hear the car coming miles away.
So,
But anyway, I got into car racing. The main reason I got into car racing was I just met a guy who was a fan of mine, and he just said, "Lee, do you like car racing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like it." So I go to the local track with him and just hang out, and then another guy come up to me and asked me about the drag racing. So for about a year or two, I followed Rod Fuller around. He used to race Top Fuel. So I used to drive some of his cars, and I just went and got my drag racing license. And the first year, I just thought, "Oh, this is fun. I'll do this." And I got third. I got third in the championship and got Rookie of the Year the first year. And then in 06, I won the championship racing, and I'd won some other road races and stuff. And then a couple of other times, I did the, where you navigate for somebody in the car, where you're doing that sort of thing, telling them when to turn left and turn right. So I won a few of them, and I was good friends with John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Nice.
So a couple of times I navigated for him in the actual one of the general leads from the TV show and stuff like that. So, yeah, just always, it's one of those things, like I said, if I like doing it, I just go do it. It's even like a little bit of the acting stuff I did. It's like when I did the body work for the Hulk movie that time, the first Hulk movie, and I just finished a short film here. Next year in September, I'm filming a big feature-length movie. But I never go looking for stuff generally. If something comes to me and someone goes, "Lee, do you want to do this?" I'm like, if it sounds fun, I'll do it. But I'm not one of people that goes out there looking for something to push and do it. I just enjoy life, and if it's fun, do it.
Right, and you were acting for, there's a TV show in Australia. How was that transition? Like, you just like working out, and how was it?
Yeah, someone I think just contacted me and just said, "You want to do this?" And pretty much I've done, I think, 3 or 4 TV shows. I did there's one on YouTube called Dumb Criminals, if you find it. I play a biker in that. It's like a 6-part YouTube thing called Dumb Criminals, but then there's 6 little episodes on YouTube, but then there's an actual movie called Dumb Criminals, like a comedy one.
Right.
So I did that one, and then from that one, actually, I just did a TV show last month. It's called Fat Pizza here. It's like a comedy, politically incorrect type show. So if you look up Fat Pizza, it comes out next month, and I played the head of a white supremacist gang on that. So generally I play a biker, a drug dealer, or neo-Nazi. I think I'm being stereotyped. Why can't I play the romantic lover? I mustn't have that look. Yeah, so it should be pretty funny. It's funny, when we were filming a month ago, we're down in Sydney filming it, and of course I got to have the big T-shirt on with white power here and stuff, and all these people with tattoos. In between filming, we're just standing on the street, and people are walking past, looking at us. The police are circling the block. I'm like, why are they staring at us? And then I remember I'm wearing the shirt with the white power shirt on, and these other people have signs of white supremacy, because no one knew we're filming this TV show. So I'm thinking, oh bloody hell.
We actually had a listener ask if you're open to coaching and providing one-on-one training for somebody who wants to try to get to like a Mr. Olympia level.
I do, as long as they're serious, because I've had some people, you start to coach them and stuff, and then they, they're just too much of a headache. They either complain about what they got to eat, what they got to train, or they're like, "Oh, this isn't happening quick enough." So if someone's prepared to, actually take, I hate using the word journey, but, if someone's prepared to buckle down and do it, yes, I'll help them. But then sometimes too, they want you to do it for free. I'm thinking, well, if I've got to give up my time, I've got to charge you something. I know people here who are nobodies would charge $350 for a diet, and to me, diets are pretty basic, so I hate charging people. I might just say, "Look, I'll write it out for you. How about $100?" They're like, $100? I'm like, oh, bloody hell. It's like, I thought you'd give it to me for free. I'm like, oh, okay, well, where do you work? I'll come get a free TV. But, it's just like, everyone, I like helping people as long as they're serious type thing, and as long as they have to understand too, look, I can guide you and help you, but you've got to do the main work.
You have to put the
I've had those people that every every 10 minutes they call you up. I just ate this. I was like, look,
Oh my gosh.
just go train. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm here to guide you a little bit. Here's a diet. Here's this. Here's training. Do it. I'll get back to you in a couple of days to see how you're feeling, see how you're looking. Then we can make little changes there. But I don't need to talk to you every single day. Just because women sometimes go through it when they go to the gym. You give them a diet. One day you hop on the scale. Oh, good. Next day you could be up half a kilo. Oh my God! It's just from fluid. Your fluid body is going to just go up and down, and in their mind they're like, "Oh, put on a kilo," and they go nuts. So you got to be sort of somewhat stable and just go with it. Then a lot of people too, they expect it overnight, and sometimes I don't like helping people because if anything goes wrong, they blame you.
Exactly. We paid for it. Why are we not seeing anything? I mean, did you put a work on it too? You just so for Lip Priest, like one of the greatest former bodybuilders, right now, what is your biggest goal? You haven't achieved it yet, and you're looking forward. What's the next step for Lip Priest?
I don't even have a clue. People say, "What's in the future?" Me, I'm one of those people that. I'm happily married now. The wife and I have 4 cats. So I'm happy to sit at home, watch Netflix with the cats and the wife. And I'm like, I just take things as they come because I've always, like I said, we all want to live a long, healthy life until we're old and stuff. But, no one knows when your number's up. Tomorrow I could walk out and get hit by a truck. So I normally just think 24 hours ahead, even if that could be too far. So I just sometimes never set goals. I just normally let things happen. Just whatever happens, whatever comes my way. I do type thing, but next year they're planning on doing that movie in September. So hopefully, if I'm still around, I'll be doing that movie next September. But I always figured, if I don't set goals, because sometimes you might set a goal, which is okay to set a goal, but I always figured if I don't set goals and I don't do this, then I can't be disappointed if it doesn't happen. So I just take it as it comes.
Yeah, I think part of that is just being happy where you are too. I think for some people, if they're not happy with their life and they try to focus on something that might make them
sometimes
happy.
Even improve others.
Well, it's true. I try and live in the moment type thing. Just if I go out today and go walking, I think about what I'm doing today, walking and stuff. Where I could easily think, I'd love to go on a big holiday overseas, and then if it doesn't happen, you get depressed. I always say it's a lot like now with young kids or with this mental health and stuff. I said a lot of it sometimes is just you have what you need and have what you want. You need friendship or you need love, you need food, you need air. What you want the new TV, you want the new iPhone, you want the new car. And generally when people don't get what they want, they get all depressed and upset rather than just be satisfied with what you have and that sort of stuff. People just, they just want too much and they might even go on Instagram, well, look what this person has, I don't have that, I'm depressed. So, you just got to be happy with what you have in life because there's always,
gratitude, right?
When people, I've got friends that act depressed and when you look at them, they've got the nicest home, the nicest car. Thinking, how can you be depressed? Look what you have here. I said, your worst day is somebody's best day. So what are you complaining about? It's like you're waking up in the morning in this beautiful home, you're breathing, you're taking a breath of fresh air. I said, some poor bastard living on the streets taking their last breath and they're going to die. So I said, what are you complaining about? So sometimes it's all about priorities. Sometimes you just got to...
Right. So that's been said that you're saying you're definitely living your daily life, you're just enjoying the moment. What is the day like for Lip Priest on a busy day or like an off day? What is it like? You get up, go to the gym. What is the daily life?
I normally get up, clean the cat's litter boxes about 4:30 a.m. and then might have a cup of coffee, then go to the gym for a couple of hours, go for a walk, come home. If the wife's at work, I'll just sit here, watch TV, go out, maybe go for a walk around the beach, and then just come home and do whatever, and then go pick her up. Or if we're home together, we might just go for a drive or go for a walk around the beach or go visit my mum. It's like I said, we just pretty much do whatever comes up. Sometimes we don't do anything and then just hang around the house. I'm like an OCD clean freak, so I'll be up vacuuming and dusting and doing that type of stuff. So that's why if I go to the gym like today, Saturday, the gyms are one of 24-hour gyms, and I know when I get there early in the morning, the place is a mess. There's plates on machines, there's shit on the floor. So as soon as I walk in between my sets, I've got to start cleaning the gym because I'm like, oh God, it's just like I just hate when people leave a place a mess. So it's like if I always make sure I clean myself. But if I'm going when I fly from Perth to London, it's like a 17-hour non-stop flight. Wow. And my OCD kicks in on the plane. When I get bored, I go into the toilet and I start cleaning the toilets. I get like I get the paper towels and I got soap all over it. I'm cleaning the sink, cleaning the toilet seat. I go all OCD. Then I sometimes wonder when I get home why I'm sick. I've probably got germs from cleaning.
That sounds actually really cool. So you've been in America.
So if you ever go on a long distance flight and the toilet's really clean, look on the plane. You might see
there.
Find the you've been in America. I think you were here on either on July or August. That you even worked out in July, right? You work out in a Gold's Gym with Michael Hearn, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
You've done lots of back and forth. You came to America, went back to Australia. How come you never thought of living in America as your final, just like stay here? What is it different?
Well, I did when I came over in 1992. I lived there for 18 years when I came over. Mm-hmm. I was in Santa Monica for 9 years, and then I lived in Austin, Texas for 4 years, and then I lived in Scottsdale, Arizona for 3 years. So when I originally was coming to America in 92, I was only coming for 2 weeks, but then I got the contract with Weider, and 2 weeks turned into 18 years. So after 18 years of living there, I was just like, missing family and stuff, time to come home. And now I just live here if I got to travel. But, I love living in Australia, but Australia is just so far from every other country. To get to America is like 14 hours non-stop. Yeah. Now when I go to London, England, I go there a couple of times a year. I fly from Sydney to Perth, which is 4.5 hour flight, and then from Perth to London is another 17.5 hours non-stop. So it's a long time to sit on a plane.
Which competition was your most memorable competition and why?
I get asked that a lot, but I don't really think I have one. People would always say maybe when I won my first pro show and stuff, but when I was at shows, it's like even with the drag racing when I won my races there, it's like, I don't know, it's because it's something that I did. I never really got, I wouldn't say it's memorable. It's just something that I was doing. Yeah. Because it's like, even if I got third at a show or fifth at a show, I'm happy with that, because there's so many good guys up there competing. To me, okay, somebody beat me and got first. The guy that got fourth at a lot of shows, sometimes you think looks just as good. It's just a matter of opinion on judging body types, the Flex Wheeler type compared to the Nasser Elson body type, the freakier one and the symmetrical one. So I never really thought about it too much. It's just, to me, it's like if I did a contest, then some people the next day, like after Mr. Olympia, that's all people talk about. To me, it was like, okay, the contest is on Saturday, come Sunday. I don't even think about it because now that's the history, that's the past. I start just whatever comes next. I don't dwell on it. It's like, people like, oh, Lee, you were ripped off, this and that. I'm like, who cares? Today's a new day. I just move on. So I wouldn't have a memorable one at all.
Right.
The only thing I'd probably say with my first pro show was memorable was the night before at the athletes meeting with Wayne D'Amelia in 2002. I did an article in Muscular Development where I talked about the sport and the politics and that, and I got to the meeting early, and it's just me and Wayne. We had the biggest fight ever. Like, you shouldn't be saying this, blah blah blah. And I'm just thinking, oh fuck, tomorrow I'm screwed. I'm not going to place well at all. So when I actually won the show, I was surprised. And Wayne came up to me. He goes, "Are you happy you won?" And I said, "Oh, after the big argument we had, I didn't think I'd place." And he actually said to me, he goes, "Lee, I'll tell you one thing." He goes, "I like you because you speak your mind." And he goes, in those articles, he goes, "You know why I do what I do?" He goes, "Because I know you might say something." And he goes, "When you say something, I can suspend you." And he goes, "But the other 19, 20, he goes, but the other 19, 20 guys are going to do what I say. So, if I suspend you, it scares them." So at least he was honest about it to me. So always, whether I like someone or hate someone, as long as they're honest, it's like, I can't stand politics. I don't really like politicians all the time because they lie. I said, look, I'd love a politician just to be honest to the people. Like, at least if you hate him, at least you can say, okay, I don't like him, but at least he's honest. So, as long as someone is always honest and does it, that's why I said politicians just bullshit the people half the time and that sort of thing. I just want a good politician to answer a question honestly would be nice.
Which is never going to happen.
So it kind of sounds like your success came from the fact that you did it because you enjoy doing it, not that you were focused on winning competitions, but you just really did what you enjoyed and let yourself enjoy your life. Would you agree? Yeah.
I think that's what you should do. It's like, there's so many people I see that are in jobs they don't like, and whether it be, they go to work every day like, I hate this job. If you can find the job you love, go find it and stick to it. Sometimes it could be a risk. Sometimes you could be in a place where you're unhappy, you're stressed, this and that. It's making you miserable at work. It's making you miserable at home. So, it can be scary and a risk that, if you're in a good job where you get money, but you hate that job, to think to yourself, hey, I want to leave this job and find my passion and follow my passion. It can be scary, but if you do it, you're going to love it. Your life would change. You're going to be so much happier. That's why you see some of these companies now, whether it be these big companies that treat their workers well. Some companies now, they can bring their pets to work. They can do this, they can do that. You know, and there's like productivity is so far ahead because people are actually enjoying going to work and having fun there. It's not like, it's not like one of these worker ants every day.
You're just forced to being.
I'd sometimes go to Sydney and I'd sit there with my daughter, sometimes having coffee, and I watch these people just like they've got their head down. There's like the worker ants every day, car, work, office, from the office, back home, back. It's just like robots, just every day doing the same stuff, and they look miserable. So it's like, it's like they always say stress is one of the biggest killers. So it's like, you just got to find that passion, and like I said, it can be scary. Like if you're in a workplace where, okay, you need your income to pay your rent or pay your house mortgage and put food on the table, it can be scary saying, listen, I'm going to give up this job and follow my passion of something else. So, but sometimes, it's got to come down to quality of life and, how you want to feel and be happy and stuff. And because, sometimes I've seen people who are miserable in their jobs, you try not to, but they'll bring that home with them. So then they'll come home from work, they'll be angry at the wife, angry at the kids. So the whole thing can just implode just because you're miserable from one job, and it can just blow up into a big thing that just, can destroy you.
No, that's great advice. I think our listeners will definitely appreciate it. That's definitely what we believe too.
Exactly. So I think we pretty much covered everything, and I think fans would be super happy that today we had a time with a champion lip wrist. I really appreciate that you got up at early, because right now over here,
that's okay.
Yeah, it was 11:30, but over there it was like 5:30 when we called you, and nobody's.
Yeah, it's quarter past 6 now. So I'll go to the gym and do 45 minutes of cardio, and then I think my friend's going to turn up to the gym at 7:30, so I'll do cardio first, and then I'll train, and then I'll leave the gym. And a guy I helped get ready for the NABA Worlds, he's doing some sort of video documentary on his life. I've got to go to a hotel and film another interview there, and then I'll come home and, don't know, watch Netflix or see what I can find. But, my wife always likes to watch those TV series, and when I see there's like 5 or 6, seasons, I'm like, look, if I start watching that, I'm one of those people, I can't stop. You've got to watch the next one. You just sit there all day and you're like, oh, bloody hell, the whole day's gone. And so I try, and it's like I never watched that Game of Thrones. I figured if I start watching that, I'll be there for a month, just sitting there watching them one after another.
Right.
So
yeah, I think we did that.
I mean, we
were guilty of that.
Yeah, right.
We wanted to catch up with the last season.
It's like now I enjoy that one. What's the one on now? I watch Power. It's not too bad, but the only thing with Power is they just do that one episode a week, and you're like, oh God, I've got to wait a whole week to see the next episode.
Right,
so
this is like a killer.
Normally if I try find a new series to watch now, I just try find one that has 2 seasons, so it's easier to catch up on. But the ones that have 7 or 8 seasons, like my wife last night, it's like, you should watch True Blood. I'm like, oh, but there's like 8 of them, isn't it? So she started watching that, and I fell asleep, and I'm like, oh, if I start another one, it's like. But I said we went to the movies the other day. I watched The Joker. It wasn't too bad a movie.
How did you like it?
And then
I loved it personally.
No, I was surprised because everyone was saying it's so violent, it's dark. It's like it's
just like
it wasn't that bad. It's like, and then I saw Rambo like a month ago, and when Rambo came out, it was like it's more violent. But then I was laughing because all those people protesting saying Sylvester Stallone hates Mexicans and blah blah. I'm like, that's a movie. It's a movie, people. It's just a movie. Relax. It's like and then. 2 days ago, I went to see that Gemini Man. It was pretty good with Will Smith. So the effects in that,
we haven't seen it, but
it's really good. Well, the way they've done it, because I watched a bit of the making of it with the CGI, how he's like acting with himself. The whole younger version of him is just a CGI character, and you can't tell. It looks like a real person. So
yeah, they did a really good job of that.
So now we just wait for next month. I think Terminator: Dark Fate comes out, so that'll be interesting.
That'll be actually really amazing.
Well, it looks pretty good. But they said it pretty much carries on from Terminator 2, so you don't really need to see all the other ones. It's like the first Terminator, then the second Terminator, and this one pretty much carries on from the second Terminator. So,
we can't wait
which will be funny because I thought at the end of the second Terminator, didn't he get lowered down into the molten steel?
Yeah, it was kind of like the same thing. Then right now, this one's going to be like a little.
I know. It's one of those movies. If you think about it, it makes your head go crazy. It's like, now if they did stop Cyberdyne, he'd never be made. He'd never come back. So if he comes back, does she come back? It's like one of those continuous loops. It just keeps going. So.
That's true.
So, as I said, really enjoyed talking to you. and I think we're almost done with all our questions, and we really appreciate your time. So, what do you think?